Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Carol Massar along with Tim Stanovic. Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move on this Monday. And with us is Bloomberg News cross-asset reporter Emily Graffeo. All right, Emily, where do you want to start?
Okay, let's start with Robinhood, ticker HOOD, HOOD, because that stock was down as much as 8.4% today. It did pare back most of those losses. It finished the day down about 2%. But this was all coming from speculation that it was going to be added to the S&P 500 with that announcement coming on Friday. But Friday afternoon came and went, and the S&P Index Committee actually made no changes to the current makeup of the index. So there was a lot of speculation, maybe Robinhood would be added, but it wasn't. And so that stock had hit several record highs last week, but it fell today.
I love this story. You wrote a great story about this that everybody should read on the Bloomberg terminal or at Bloomberg.com, Emily. Explain for everybody. And look, 13% higher last week on speculation that it would enter the index. Explain for everybody in a world of passive investing why stocks move higher when they are added to the index.
So there's a little bit of space in between the time that the index announces that it's going to make a change and when the change actually goes through. It's about, I think it's like 2 weeks. And so in that time, a lot of traders, hedge funds, they anticipate that when the changes actually go through, there's going to be a ton of buying. Passive indexes, ETFs, mutual funds that track the S&P 500 are going to have to buy this stock because they have to mirror what the index looks like. So they buy the stock before those changes actually go through to kind of get ahead of the trade, and then they sell it. So that's why actually sometimes on the days that the index changes actually go into effect, we see the stock fall. But we didn't even get to see that happen for Robinhood because, of course, it's not in the running right now. But maybe next quarter it will be added. We'll have to see.
I love it, right? It's a guessing game to some extent, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we feel like we really, really know, and then it doesn't necessarily play out that way. Hey, one group that we were watching in a big way, semiconductors. As a whole, the stocks was up, easily outpacing the overall broader market. Qualcomm, though, is one name that's been on your radar today.
Yeah, ticker QCOM. This was a standout because the chip maker reached an agreement to buy Alphawave for about $2.4 billion in cash. You look at what the street had to say about this deal. Bloomberg Intelligence said that it confirms Qualcomm's ambitions to expand into the AI data center market. And I saw a couple other notes that were talking about how this is kind of like Qualcomm pivoting more into that data center play as opposed to just being known for the chip maker for Apple. I feel like I often read stories about Qualcomm and the next description of the company is they supply chips for Apple. And so I guess they're trying to kind of diversify away from that. JP Morgan said this is a strategic acquisition to enhance its position in the data center market. The context for the stock here is that it's actually just up 1% year to date, slightly below what the market is doing. So they needed this gain today.
Carol, do you know where Qualcomm is based?
Nearby, isn't it?
San Diego.
Oh.
Where we're headed on Tuesday.
Wait. Let's try this again. Ask the question again.
Do you know where Qualcomm is based?
San Diego.
It's San Diego. It's a big employer in San Diego.
We will be there on Tuesday.
We'll be there on Tuesday. All right, Emily Graffeo, we're not going to take a car, but maybe the tires of our airplane will be made out of Goodyear?
Yeah.
Made from Goodyear? Was that a segue?
That, I really didn't know where you were going with that, Tim. But sure, we can talk about this stock.
Thank you.
Goodyear Tire and Rubber finished the day up 11%. The ticker's GT. They got an upgrade over at BNP Paribas, and they said they upgraded the tire seller to outperform from neutral. They called the company a true tariffs winner, and they have industry low tariff exposure that's going to drive meaningful earnings upside. I feel like the last couple months and weeks, I've been looking for what is a tariff winner? What's a loser? This was not intuitive to me, like a tire maker. You'd think that there's a lot of supply chain dynamics that go into getting rubber and making a tire. But at least according to this latest upgrade, they're going to benefit from these Section 232 auto tariffs. Approximately, I'm just citing the analyst report, 55% of all U.S. tires sold now incur 25% duty rate, but only 12% of their sales are subject to these tariffs. So that stock had a good day.
All right, good stuff. Good roundup of some of the movers on this Monday. That, of course, is Bloomberg News cross-asset reporter Emily Garfeo joining us with some of the stocks on the move.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.